Hi, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at a training game that I played on chess.com. So this one I faced a lower rated player. So I was rated 1730 roughly, and he was rated 1620 roughly. So 100 point spread, not that that means that much. Um, but definitely looking for a win if I can. So we had a Sicilian defense where I played d4, of course, my favorite move. And he took, and I said, have a pawn if you like. And he said no. So he defended his pawn with the move e5. Now, I'm pretty sure this is called like, oh, actually, I don't know the name of this. I don't know the name of this line, but it is a line. I know that. I've had it in a tournament game before, like a classical time control tournament game, where I did win, but the game was complicated, very complicated. So I know that there's that this is tricky. I mean, mostly certainly I can play knight f3 first, and this will attack the pawn. But he can play knight to c6. And now I certainly was considering playing like bishop c4. So, I mean, one thing I want to do as a Morra player is I want to allow this capture so we can transpose into my main lines. That would be really nice. But after bishop c4, I thought knight f6 is going to put an end to that because my pawn is attacked and I'm not sure what I should do here. Wow. I'm seeing that the computer says I could do this because then I have knight g5. I'm assuming d5 here. And e takes d5. Yeah, knight a5, this whole thing. But now, instead of bishop e5 check, we could play queen a4 check, it says. Okay, what about bishop d7? And if bishop d7, now bishop b5. That's funny. I like this move because you're saying, hey, go ahead and take my bishop if you want, because then it's check and that's a fork. So he cannot, I mean, it is defended though. So he cannot move the queen. He would have to play knight d7 here, which looks awkward. And I'm starting to really like white. Yeah, and the computer says white's better. So, wow, I think that's going to become my main line then, because I wasn't going to play bishop c4 because I didn't see knight g5. I didn't think that was anything. Okay, but I played, so I took the pawn here. I mean, if you can't transpose into the main lines, we want to open up this square for the knight. So he took it. And now I know from experience that you should take that pawn. I don't think you want to leave it there and allow bishop c5. So I did take it. The computer agrees with all this. And if he takes my knight, I'm very happy, but they usually don't. They usually have trickier stuff than that. Like knight f6 is a decent move here, I think. And they could also, I mean, notice how weak this diagonal is. So they can play things like queen a5 check and bishop e4 check and try to kill you on that diagonal. So that is what my opponent did. I think that's a good move. Notice that the normal response of bishop d2 or knight d2 are both blunders because of knight takes knight. So we cannot do that. Wait, is that true? Is that true? I can play bishop d2. Yeah, because on knight takes knight, I could take the bishop. And now the knight's under attack. And if he came back, well, maybe I can make use of this square. Yeah, the computer really likes white here. So that's pretty interesting. I actually didn't see that. That's kind of sad. It looks pretty obvious in hindsight, but I guess what I didn't see is that when the knight moves, he's not defending that bishop anymore. So I did kind of miss that. Okay, so I decided to play knight to c3, which the computer actually likes anyway. Now I'm saying, you can give me an isolated c-pawn if you want to. Like, you can go ahead and do that, but you're not going to have two bishops anymore. And by the way, your light square bishop looks kind of sickly. I don't know if he'll stay that way, but he definitely looks sickly for now. Okay. Now he played queen e7, which is tricky. So he saw that my knight is pinned. He wants to take the pawn with check. And that would also be a double attack on this knight. So that's a threat. So I played the move knight b5. Okay. So, okay, I have to turn the engine off and just check it when I have a conclusion to check. Okay, so here I definitely was considering well, what was I considering? I basically only looked at knight b5, knight d to b5, that is. Because, well, it looks annoying. So if knight to b5, which happened in the game, I'm threatening a fork. So I'm sure he could see that. Now, he can take this pawn with check, but I was planning queen e2 here. And if and when a queen trade occurs, then this knight's actually really good here. This is an annoying threat. And not only that, but I might come into d6, depending on what happens with that bishop on b4. So, I mean, if you look at the black pawn structure, they don't have a c pawn or an e pawn, kind of unusual. So they have an isolated d pawn, which means that putting a knight in front of this pawn is a really good thing. Any piece, really. Bishop, rook, whatever I want. But that's a good idea to stop this pawn from moving forward. Okay, so he did take the pawn. Now, I just want to see what the computer says. It likes knight b5. Okay, so that's a real move. I thought it was the only way to try for something here, but bishop e2 also is a try. Yeah, bishop e2, I mean, can he, he could still take this. And now it wants knight b5. So it likes putting the bishop there instead of the queen. So we want to leave queens on. Apparently it's a little bit better. Wow, I just realized the computer wants to do this. Because we have bishop f3. Yeah. Let's x-ray defend the rook. I like those moves. That's pretty cool. So the queen probably has to retreat, like to here or something. Now we go rook g1. Okay, this is getting insanely complicated. Remember how I mentioned these lines are crazy? Yeah, they do get crazy. So it's kind of a practical way to decline the gambit, in my opinion. So in the game he took here. Of course, my knight's pinned. I can't take the queen. But I was planning queen to e2 here, justifying my knight on b5 with an annoying idea. And he decided to take this way. Now, I could take with the knight, and that was my initial plan. I think that's probably fine. But I thought taking with the pawn is very interesting. Okay, so I took with a pawn because, okay, this queen is actually pinned, all right? It's not going anywhere. If he takes me, he helps me develop. And he needs to do something about this. But at the same time, his queen's under attack. So it kind of forces queen takes queen, which is what he did. And now how to deal with the fork. If king d8, I thought knight d6 posed problems. And if king f8, bishop a3 poses problems. Oh, maybe not. Maybe a knight could block there. But anyway, I thought, you know, this looks kind of rough. The computer's giving king f8, which is surprising to me. In the game, he played this move. So I was thinking if he goes here, I could play here and say, haha, the other one's hit now, and you know, this wouldn't work because I take, and then I fork anyway. So seemed like a practical idea to me, and the computer agrees. Now the computer wants king to f8, which I'm not sure I understand. Bishop a3 looks good, but also I was wondering about this idea, because after rook to b8, do I have bishop f4? This might be one of those like funny draw scenarios, like I discover, attack the rook, and it goes back to a8. So I bring my knight back in, it comes back to b8. You know what I mean? I think that's what's happening here. So the computer's giving knight f6, not worried about it, of course. Yeah, so knight b5, rook a8. This is exactly what I was saying. Now I could play bishop d6 check, so that's something, but yeah, otherwise this is a line, you know what I mean? You could agree to draw. Okay, but in the game, he actually played king to e7. Now, king to e7, I thought I can now, you know, bishop a3 check just looks so natural. It's an Evans Gambit move. But now I have an Evans Gambit pawn structure. So, I did play this. He tucked his king away on d8. And I knew I must be better here. I didn't know how much better. The computer says +4. +4. Okay. So in this position, I was thinking about knight to d6. I almost certainly played that. Looks pretty obvious, right? So like I was saying, there is no knight a6. So this is pretty annoying. Now, how is he going to deal with this? Well, in the game... Oh, what was I just saying? I said there was no knight a6, but there is. I forgot I moved my bishop to a3. Okay. So I did see this coming, and I planned the move g4. This is funny, right? So, hey, I'm going to attack your knight. What are you going to do about it? And if you go f6, I can go h4. So that actually did happen. And then my opponent found a pretty cool idea, this knight e5 idea. That's a precise move because it does a lot of things. It double attacks this pawn, which I don't think matters so much. But mostly, the knights are looking to converge on the f7 square. So, and it's not so easy for me to deal with this. If I play f4, then I think he just jumps in. He doesn't care. And if I go here, kind of the same thing, right? So he could just jump in. So it did actually meet my idea. Now the downside for him is that he's not developed really. So moving the knight again is not ideal, but I suppose it's forced. And now I need to find something good here. So I thought about f4, I thought about g5, and I settled on f4. So I want to see what the engine thinks. Wow, it was the wrong move. g5 is correct. Okay, I'm going to turn it off and see if we can find see why. Why would g5 be correct? Okay, if g5, I thought he would go here. And then if f4, I did look at this line. I thought he would then take the knight. I guess then I could take. He would have to move his knight again. I don't know. I didn't see this as anything concrete. So let's see what the engine wants. Maybe I'll learn something here. So knight g5, I thought he would go here. Okay. Computer says take that. It also says g takes f6, both moves. So this or this. This seems counterintuitive, so what's the idea? I thought he would take. Now it wants to take. Okay, so what? I guess we wrecked some pawns, but look at our pawns. I wasn't that concerned about pawns. And then it says castle queenside. So, and this is just a better position somehow. Not exactly sure why it's so good. I think one reason is that this pawn can't really move. That's one reason. Another reason is 2 bishops. And that's what Grandmaster Feingold says. We have 2 bishops. So that must be why this is so good. Open board with 2 bishops. I'm also better developed. So that's apparently a winning position. But yeah, so there was nothing concrete. I was right about that. But the resulting position is very good. Better than I thought. So let's go back. Instead, I played f4, which the computer doesn't like. Of course, he jumped in. I didn't know what to do here, so I castled queenside. I'm like, well, I figured this is kind of the end of that like crazy pressure I had and the threats I had. But I mean, if you look at my position, I'm 1 move away from being fully mobilized. So I simply castled queenside, and I figured I must be better here, probably at least a little bit better. And the computer agrees, and that's being down a pawn, so I was right about that. So he did take this. Now, take with a rook or a bishop. It was actually a hard choice. Whatever one I take with, I think knight f7 is coming. So I'll have to retreat. Probably I should take with a rook. But I ended up taking with a bishop. I don't know why. I think that was a mistake in hindsight. I think I should take with a rook because after this, I could drop back to d2. I thought this defends the bishop and prepares this. Notice this pawn is isolated. So this pressure could amount to something. Instead, I took with the bishop. Computer likes both of them, really. They both are fine. Rook here, and now my initiative is over. Now we play chess, and, you know, and this is where I really keep kicking myself. Will I ever learn? I had 3 minutes, and my opponent had 7 minutes. Now, this player was slow, but when my opponents play slow, I play even slower. So I have to learn to, you know, try to stay even on the clock. I don't even bother looking. So that's part of my issue. But okay, rook here, knight to f7, of course. I retreated. This was my plan. I liked the idea of this square being under my control, or pretty close to it at least. Okay, so I think bishop f3 is very natural here. I played it. Rook b8. Now, once again, the computer says white is winning. I felt like I was better for sure, but it's sometimes it's hard to find the right way to be winning. I don't know. Um, so here I did take the rook, but let's look at this position. Okay, I'm going to turn the engine off because even though I suspected I was better, I did not know it was winning. Okay, so there must be some reason why we're winning. Now, obviously, I want to play bishop d6. That would trap the rook, and then we win material. But if I play bishop d6 right now, I lose the game because he would take, right? If you know what I'm talking about, he would take, and if I took back this way, he would take. So I would have to take the rook first, and that also loses. So it's kind of annoying, right? Like bishop d6 would be so good, except it loses the game at the moment. So what should we do? Good question. I think bishop d5. Maybe it's bishop d5. Yeah, I like bishop d5 quite a bit. But I did think, if we take this knight, then bishop d6 isn't as strong because this bishop won't be here taking away the other squares from the rook. So I don't know. You guys are probably screaming the right answer to me. In the game I did take the rook because I didn't want to I didn't want to something. And I played here. Oh, wow. This is the moment that I had to find the right move. And I had 2 minutes left. Rook e1 check wins. Why is that? Oh, it's easy to see. Dang it. Or is it? Rook e1 check. Let's think about this for a second. Rook e1 check. If king here, that's illegal. So rook e1 check, king here. I don't see any other moves. And then what are we doing against that? Ooh, maybe bishop check. And then here. Oh, I still can't see the end of it though. I want to play bishop d6 again, but the knight's here. Maybe this move. Oh, I can't play bishop d6. My rook's not even on d1 anymore. Wow, I don't know. I don't know. It must be a little bit complicated. More tactics puzzles for me. Computer wants rook e1 check, king to d8, and not bishop e7. It wants rook e7. Okay, rook e7 attacks the knight. You guys agree? The knight must move. Oh, wow. The knight doesn't have a lot of good squares. Knight h6. And finally, I get bishop d6 in, right? Computer doesn't even want bishop d6. It wants to take a pawn. That also looks good, though. I mean, my pawns are going to become very strong if I start winning those. So, but even better, I think, is, well, I like bishop d6, too. That wins material. So I finally get the dream I wanted. Trap the rook. Yeah, it says b5. I don't know why. I would definitely take the rook. Wow, computer does not want to take the rook. It still likes rook takes g7 the best. Yeah, and I see why, because we take here and then we take here. That's a threat on the knight. And where does the knight go? The knight is almost trapped. He's going to have to go here, and then we pin him. Yeah, do you see what I'm talking about? Like, let's say he gets out with his rook. um, computer just wants this because the play on the other side of the board is too much. So rook e6, and now we go here, attacking the knight. If the knight goes here, we pin. If this, which the rook wasn't even there before, then bishop a5 check. That will win. King e7. Probably we can go attack the pin piece. Okay. Wow. Crazy, crazy lines. I guess I always say that. Is this just normal chess? I don't know. Probably it's just normal chess, but I love this stuff. Okay. So rook e7 was critical. It allows bishop, it attacks the knight has to move. We get bishop d6, we get rook takes g7. I did not see that, so that's on me. Instead, I played here, and now the computer says it's even. Oh. This is so hard to understand during a game. It's so hard to understand that if I play here with the idea of this, I completely win. But if I play here, it's a draw, or should be a draw, and all my advantage is gone. It's just hard to understand that, but that is what happened. And after d6, I checked. Yeah, and it's just so unfortunate. Black is coordinated just the right way. He can go here. I want to play here and do a fork, but this knight is just too good. And if I take the knight, he recaptures. And that is what I did. And this must be a mistake, and it is. In hindsight, I would not play that move. I was down on the clock. The problem with it is that after this, it's an opposite color bishop ending. Okay. And not only that, but I'm down a pawn for the moment. I'm going to win one back. I went here first because if I take here right now, oh, I guess I can do this. He has to go rook b7. Okay. But I went here and the bishop comes in. Now I take rook here. Yeah, so I think I missed my chance, you know. I had pressure this whole game. Then I got low on time and ended up in this instead. Not ideal. I traded rooks. I don't know what else I could do. I don't think I want to trade rooks, but where would I go? I don't think rook d1 is any good. Right? Like what if he infiltrates? Like where could he go? Maybe here, I don't know, but I didn't want to allow the rook in, so I had to take it. Now my king's a little better, that's one good thing, but it's opposite color bishops. And okay, see what he was doing? He's trying to win this, so I defended it. Okay, now he's still trying to win it, so I moved up. Now he has a passed pawn. But I defended my pawn so that if this one runs, I can go get it. Which is what happened. I have one pawn on a light square, but I saw that if he attacked it, I could just move it, so I did. He can do the same. This just looks like a draw to me. Yeah, the computer agrees. We both have 3 pawns. I'm kind of fortunate that it's a draw because my pawn structure is a little worse. If anybody has chances, it's black, I think. His king's a little better and his pawns are a little better. And yeah, he offered a draw here and I took it. I had 1 minute to his 5 minutes, and yeah, neither one of us can really do anything. I actually think that he could try playing like this. Like he could try winning this pawn. But if he did that, I think I would park my bishop on b4. If this, I could take it. And then once my bishop's on b4, then I could do this. And he still can't make progress. And likewise, if I think I'm going to get my pawn going, I think, you know, he always has bishop c4, and it's not going to happen. So yeah, so that was a painful draw. I really felt like I was better most of the game, and I was. Computer approved the way I played for the most part. But then when it came to the critical move, I had low time and didn't find it. But so let's go ahead and run the summary. I want to see how I played. Oh my gosh, yeah, the graph looks insane. Like I was winning for a while, and then there was a dip, and then I was winning. Didn't like h4, but it says I was +3 after this move. So what's better than h4? h4 looked very natural to me, but what would it be? Let's see. I don't know. Castle's queenside? Like, what does it want here? I bet it wants f4 to stop knight e5. Yes, I was right. Yeah, because knight e5 was an annoying resource that I did not see. Had I seen that, I would have won here, because eventually I'm going to get this, right? Like g5 comes next. Wow, and f4 serves the same purpose as h5. Very cool. Instead, I played f4 here, but I had to play g5, right? And was it g5 or was it a different move? I think it was g5. Yep, g5, way better. Hard to understand why, but I think mostly the knight comes here, and then I ended up taking. This is a great game for me to study, because I feel like there's some attacking and initiative based ideas that I still don't know, and the computer's pointing them out. Okay, bishop f3 is a game changer on +6. I can't believe this is a draw. Yeah, and bishop d5, the blunder. One blunder ruined the whole game. Yeah, would you ever think that bishop d5 is a blunder? But it is. I have a win here, and I have to play it or it's equal. And the win is rook e1 check. And the idea behind this is he has to go king d8, and then I go rook e7. This is the critical moment of the game. So I'm going to make a flashcard of this. You'll probably see it in my flashcard series. Yeah, I'm going to make a flashcard of this because I did not see that this knight will be attacked and has nowhere good to go, right? He's not coming here. That's not happening. He's not coming to either of these squares. My lovely f-pawn has boxed him out. That was by design. So he has to go here. How horrible. Or here. If he wants to hide in the corner, I won't complain about it, right? Because that's even worse. Then I take here, and I'm already threatening this, and that would win him. So, yeah, this plan. You have to see this plan. You have to see rook e1 check followed by rook e7. It's the only win. When I played bishop d5, it looks like I have crazy pressure. It looks like it, but black can hold this no problem. You know, so it looks like I can take the knight and go here, but if I do take the knight, it just doesn't do anything. And if I check after this move, he goes here. Everything's fine. There is no fork. I was hoping for this fork, but in time pressure, I didn't calculate it accurately. I was just like kind of playing by intuition. So interesting game. Let's finish up the rest. It says I played with 96.8% accuracy. It's hard to be upset with that. That's pretty good. It was just that one bishop d5 move. And my opponent played with 97.2% accuracy. I hate it when that happens. You play someone lower rated and they play with 97% accuracy. Okay, so, well, if you look at the report though, I have 1 inaccuracy, 2 mistakes, and 1 blunder. He has 1 inaccuracy, 1 mistake, and 1 blunder. So, anyway, pretty instructive game, I thought. I hope you guys enjoyed it like I did. Hey, I'm still sitting at 1732, so I'm not going to complain too much about that, and I'll be back with more chess. Okay, have a great night. Bye.